What if the allure of planning for the future was a mere illustration? Can a simple 4-page brochure visually guide us from a state of chaotic uncertainty to a clear, actionable vision? And how do we design a publication that embodies the nature of foresight itself? Today, our mission is to design a 4-page brochure that embodies the concept of foresight. Using Affinity Designer, we will pave a visual path that progresses from ambiguity to clarity. Our design will use a powerful gradient and a single continuous illustration to mirror the human mind's process of taking disorganized information and building it into a focused, organized design. Let's dive into the journey of foresight. Our foundation begins with the 4-page gradient background. The gradient starts out white on the first page, symbolizing the clean slate and the initial lack of clarity for the future. It then gradually transitions into a calming light blue, representing the beginning of thought and the accumulation of data. As we move to the third page, it shifts to a deep, contemplative dark blue, a place of deep analysis and pattern recognition. Finally, the fourth page concludes in a rich, decisive purple, symbolizing a clear vision, wisdom, and a fully realized plan. Running across all 4 pages is our primary visual metaphor, a single sideways mountain. On page 1, at the base of the mountain is a jumbled, disorganized cluster of squares and rectangles. This represents the chaotic state of mind at the beginning of the process. It's a raw, formless mass of emotions that cloud our judgment. As we move to page 2, the mountain's base begins to suddenly organize itself. The squares and rectangles are more arranged, and the vague shape begins to emerge. This is the act of sifting through the chaos, identifying patterns, and making sense of our initial thoughts. By page 3, the mountain is clearly taking shape. The base is now more secure, and we are moving up a defined, less rigid path. This is the critical stage of analysis and protection, where trends are identified and future outcomes are theorized. Finally, on page 4, we reach the mountain's peak. It is a single, clean, and beautifully formed shape. This is the climax of foresight, a single, clear vision, a structured path forward, born from the initial chaos. The text placement follows the same progression. On page 1, the filler text is scattered and underlined, mimicking the disorganized flow of initial thoughts. On page 2, the text begins to align into columns and small, organized chunks. By page 3, the text is almost fully organized, but still with some deliberate tension. Finally, on page 4, the text is perfectly aligned, spaced, and legible, offering a more digestible visual. Now we must ask ourselves, what can designing this brochure teach us about the power of foresight? It shows us that foresight is about the conscious efforts made for intentional work, taking a messy, uncertain present and slowly, deliberately creating an organized vision for the future. In our lives, we often feel overwhelmed by the disorganized base of the mountain. But this design reminds us that if we commit to the process, we can move up that slope and arrive at a peak of clarity and purpose. It is the act of turning ambiguity into a path to clear answers. Most people don't want to be charmed by logic or reason, but by immediate gratification and rewards. While a balanced intake of immediate appeals isn't inherently bad, it's easy to slip into a mindset of seeking pleasure and avoiding pain. The basis of most mistakes are made in short-form thinking, responding primarily to emotions. We should never overlook the importance of catching ourselves and evaluating the situation. Next time you're faced with an emotionally intense situation, try to stop yourself from immediately reacting and think of how you can respond instead. The impulsive response is enticing because it feels good, but unintended consequences often outweigh the short-term gains. Personal well-being often doesn't depend on what we do, but on the actions we refrain from. When all is said and done, you'll find yourself with more freedom. So, I want to ask you, what is one messy mountain base in your life right now that you could begin to build a clearer path for? If you enjoy this blend of design and philosophy, be sure to like and subscribe for more explorations into the visual language of thought. Thank you for watching, and as always, stay mindful, stay creative.